Once again, shout out to the people. You're listening to the Sunday session with your host, Asher L. Black Dot Chronicles. I am your host, Sun Cypher. Shout out to our brother, James Jetson. He's out organizing some things this weekend. So, Asher L and myself will be holding it down. Asher, how you doing this weekend?
Yo, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me. Trying to hold it down. One half of Crypto and Down. Shout out to Jams. Hope you're tuning in. Maybe will be joining us shortly. But thanks for having me. Appreciate you as always, and I'm ready to get into whatever you want to talk about today and hear a great sermon.
Yeah, man. And as Ashdell just said, if you don't know, go check out our brothers over at Crypto and Down. They're doing good work over there. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever they can. The boys are talking about politics, current events, crypto, whatever's happening in the streets. My boys got you on lock, so go check them out. Give them a subscribe over on YouTube. Also check them out on Twitter. And make sure you come and support like the good work that brothers like Asher L, Jams, Jackson, and myself are putting forth. So hope everybody had a good week out there. My week was pretty laid back. I can't even, I'm pretty excited now. They've lifted this international flying ban as far as Australia. We were like the last ones to do this shit. Like we've been like shut down pretty much for 2 years now. Nobody in, nobody out. So I'm pretty excited about that. We got our wings back, so to speak. So I'll be definitely making plans to get up out of here sooner than later.
Nice.
What's been going on with your week?
Yo, not too much, man. Just a lot of work. Trying to work on the website. Come up with content. Chop up some videos. We did stream a few times this week, so that was good. But this weekend definitely got to watch some football. Caught some good college football. Got to see Alabama go down to A&M. Unfortunately, Texas lost to OU. But it was a great game from what I saw of those highlights.
Yeah, I caught that Alabama A&M game. That was it was crazy. I thought Alabama actually had him. Actually walked away for a second. And discussed the taking off route for I'm from Georgia. We handled our business earlier that day. I think it was like, what was it, like 31 to whatever they had, like 27, I think at the time. It was like, what is it? It's over. You know what I'm saying? I literally walked away for like 2 seconds. I came back, it was like 38. So, yeah, I'm glad to see that A&M handled their business.
Yeah.
What's his name? Saban got his first loss from one of his disciples.
Right, one of the first ones. Actually, the only one so far. So, Jimbo bought himself another 10 years in that job. So, shout out to him.
Sure. Yeah, all he had to do was beat the boss, and he's good.
Right? Just prepare for that one game all off season. Maybe beat Texas when they come into the SEC. And then you'll be good.
Bro, but that SEC is gone, man. Like that conference is gone. What team is not good in SEC besides Vandy?
Wait, say that again.
What team is not good in the SEC besides Vanderbilt?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm like, Kentucky is good every once in a while. Like they'll pop up, they get good players.
Are they undefeated right now?
Actually, I don't know. I have to look that up. Okay. See, like even them, yeah, even they will pop up. Like it's solid, and it's about to get a lot tougher. So, pretty soon, we might see all 3 or 4 teams in the playoffs from the SEC, or maybe 3, not 4, but yeah.
Bro, it might be this year because I'm pretty sure Georgia's probably going to lose at least one game before they have to play Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't, they'll probably end up losing to Alabama. Even though I think they may get Alabama. Oh, we got Nate in. That's what's up. Yo, so I'm gonna bring in Crypto Nate. Nate, you there? Hey, yo, Nate, what's good? Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
he may chime in a second, but anyway, yeah, man. So SEC, this is probably like the one of the toughest seasons that I've seen so far, as far as like the quality of the teams. You know, from Florida. I mean, Florida State.
Hmm.
They're in the ACC or whatever and shit. But like Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Carolina. So all your Texas teams or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's gonna be an exciting year this year for sure. But we were talking about that fight earlier as well. The
Oh
Wilder
yeah,
Fury, the Wilder Fury 3.0. While we on the sports topic, you know what I'm saying?
smoked him.
Yeah, I was hurt. I was real hurt. I mean, at least I won't say hurt, but I wanted him to win. But he showed himself well. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for sure. Yeah,
He
you
took
know,
some
he
L's
said,
back.
yeah, that's hard. Like I saw someone tweet that he's going to the gym to work on leg day because he got inspired by Wilder. So, it's hard to carry your own weight plus an extra, few hundred, couple hundred pounds of fury. But I think he went out standing up, boxing. He actually got knocked out, but I think he showed himself well, like you said, because it's hard to keep that man off of you when he's bouncing around and leaning on you. So,
Yeah, yeah. That's a big O for you. I wouldn't
hmm
hustle with that dude. I'd be
hey,
I'd be sticking and moving for sure. But yeah, I'm glad Wilder showed a good face in that as well. At least he could, wake up and kiss his babies and his wifey and shit and feel good about
hmm
himself this morning. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was good. What did you have you had a chance to check out Chappelle stand up in
yeah,
closing?
actually, I did this Friday. I watched it.
Alright.
It was cracking me up, man. He's still got it.
What are your thoughts? What are some of the things that stuck out to you? Obviously there's a controversy. They're trying to cancel Chappelle and shit again
Yeah,
over this.
I was like these random groups I never heard of trying to trying to get him banned.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. The one his feminist joke was funny about running the feminist movement.
Oh yeah.
That one had me rolling. Uh, what was the other one? When he how he first started off, um, going. He went in on the redacted. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's funny. I was gonna talk to you about that. The redacted. So tell the people about the redacted. Who are the redacted, and how would you define these individuals?
okay, I would see the redacted. It's not just one group. The redacted is everywhere across the entire world. The redacted are the beings, organizations, all throughout politics, finance, religion, education, uh, and they are the beings who influence the culture through entertainment, as well as controlling money, the flow of money throughout the entire world in different countries. And yeah, the redacted it's comprised of lots of different groups across a few different races. Some people say they came from space. Other people say uh, they live in certain parts of the world. But yeah, that's a general theme of who the redacted is. When I refer to the redacted now, you know I would say that our president is a redacted. So
Mm,
you could look at, let's say, I don't know, different countries and things like that. But like I said, you know, Joe Biden, or Ho Biden, as I like to call him, he just represents one element of it. So that's kind
yeah.
of I do, for her, we can go into specifics more of like how these people influence the different industries I was talking about, whether the entertainment, finance, education, and have a good control of history. But yeah, that's pretty much, I would say, that's who the redacted are.
Okay. Yeah. Because I've been hearing you say that for a few weeks now, and I've been actually meaning to ask you about that for 2 weeks because my ears perked up whenever I heard. Because this
it,
is my first time even mentioning this to you for
uh-huh.
you guys, for everybody who's listening. So this is not a pre-conversation that we
Yeah.
had. And the reason why I was asking you about that because I thought that was clever as fuck. And I realized immediately as soon as you said it, and I heard you say it twice in the reference that you used them, I knew that you were talking about this same deplorable class that I referenced. It's literally the same group of fucking characters, even how you just described them. You have
Yeah, and
politics in
yeah,
every uh, like pillar of human interaction. You have the redacted or the deplorable class that's standing between the people and our true reality and shit. You know.
yeah. It's one of those things where you could target in and zero in on a specific group or country, or an industry, but keeping it to the redacted kind of keeps it vague enough where you got to read between the lines and you can start to make connections between all these different types of people in these pillars of industry, as you said. Um, and like you say, so it's kind of like the same deplorable class, but within that entire class, you always talk about symbolism and the organizations and the symbols that they put out in the world and who stands behind them and what they do. So yeah, that all encompassing web.
Yeah, that is a very interesting synopsis and shit. So you got the redacted, you know what I'm saying, and you got the rule class, and they masquerade under the same umbrellas. You have these elected officials who seem to serve
Hmm.
these non-elected officials who coalesce in these little boys and girls clubs like fucking the World Health Organization, Bank of International Settlements, the Bill and Melinda Foundation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
World Economic Forum, and so on and so forth, or whatever. These are these non-elected, privately staffed, privately funded groups around the planet. Can't forget about the Club of Rome, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group, all of these, circles within circles within circles and shit. These truly form your ruling class, and they coalesce with governments around the planet to ensure that we never
yeah.
see the light of day that we should.
I got a question for you just before we kind of get into some of the topics you wanted to get into. When it comes to like the redacted and understanding history, what are your thoughts on when people talk about breakaway civilizations separate from Earth? How do you think the deplorables fit into that?
Okay, yeah. I think my hypothesis is that these elected officials and these non-elected redacted groups, I think that they maintain the agenda for entities that are not of this frequency. You know what I'm saying? To keep it scientific, I think they hold water for entities that are not of this frequency, and ultimately that don't even have the biology to exist on the planet in its current form. So I think that's why, for since the industrial age, we've gone about the business of destroying the planet systematically, leading up to everything that's going on now. Because I think that ultimately, on top of taking away our basic human rights as their number one agenda, they also want to make the planet suitable for their suitors, so to speak, or whatever. And this whole idea of, cats like Elon Musk and now Jeff Bezos and their little space race and all this shit like that or whatever.
Hmm.
I mean, to me, that's just basically opening up the intergalactic highways of commerce.
Yeah.
They're basically building a bridge, like from here to there with individuals that are not from here. That's my perspective.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me see if I can bring Nate on real quick. Yo, Nate,
Hey, what's up, brothers? How's it going?
Good. How you
good in the
doing?
building. What's
Oh
up?
man, had a hell of a time trying to get on this dream. with this damn phone.
Oh shit. Yo, Nate, this is my brother Asher L, man. He's another Hexacan. We do this every Sunday service, man. I'm glad you can make it.
Hey, I'm honored, man. I'm honored to join the both of you, definitely.
Yeah. Nah, nice to meet you for sure. Yeah, this is our what fourth episode,
Yeah,
I think, third or fourth
yeah,
episode we done. So yeah, it's nice meeting new people in the crypto space who are in the hex.
yeah, man.
Definitely, man. We're here long term, man. It's a
Oh
long
yeah.
term play.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's for sure.
Yeah, yo. So we be all over the place on Sunday service. We be dealing with general topics of the day, and then each one of us, our brother Jams as well. He couldn't be with us today, but the three of us, we'll just bring a sermon for the people. You know what I'm saying, and like give them that good gospel, and just trying to inspire people and also show a roadmap of some of this craziness that's going on. We were just talking about. Asher L was asking me, or just pose the question again, man. Let's see what Nate will have to say about that as well.
Yeah, so we were talking about the redacted or the deplorable class, just people, groups who control every aspect of our lives, like financial system, politics, entertainment. And I was
Mhm.
asking son Saifa, I was asking him how does he feel this class of people, deplorables, fit into the idea of like a breakaway civilization and what he thought about that.
Well, to me, man, they already got the agenda going. It's rolling like a steamroller too, man. Like on a paved road right now, and it's basically been mapped out for a very long time. And for some reason, they're really pushing it. And I've heard a couple of theories, why they want to push it,
Hmm.
but it's a lot of signs, man, that I'm paying attention to, man, and especially the movies. I tell people about movies and fiction that there is no fiction. And I got that from Neville Garter, listening to him. Like, there is no fiction. There isn't, man. Because, I mean, if you look at, like, the fiction stories, like, say, for instance, for example, Gattaca. Look at the movie Gattaca, for God's sake. How you got the inferior genes, you can't do this, but you got the superior genes, you could do all the freedoms that we could guarantee you, and everything. And there was another movie a lot of people don't really talk about was that Justin Timberlake movie In Time,
Oh
Yo,
where
yeah.
you
yo,
yeah where you had to have so much I guess what's that, time deposits in your body in order for you to travel and to get certain things, dude. I mean, dude, this is something else. I told my wife when we saw that movie, I was like, that is not too far away.
yeah, that's real talk.
Yeah.
That's real
Yeah,
talk.
man, they've had this mapped out, man, for a while. And there's another trailer that you got to pay attention to because my wife and I and my son, we went to see Venom,
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah.
there's a trailer on that movie, Skip, man, and it's called Lamb.
Okay.
You have you have to see this. It's actually about a hybrid lamb and a boy being born into the world. Now, what does that sound like? I mean,
Uh,
what does that actually sound like, dude?
that shit sound like Sodom and Gomorrah, son.
It sounds like he's being born into the world. They basically telling you that the thing's already here, dude,
Yeah,
and we're preparing the society for him, basically.
well, again,
I'm
Yo,
telling
that fits with the article you sent me, son, of like those babies, that video of like babies being
oh
born
yeah,
during this time.
oh yes,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, that's
So
definitely yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, so now that you mentioned that, Asha L, I don't know if you've been keeping this. I know you've been going in hard. I've been seeing you going in hard on all of this fucking vaccine shit online and on the medias and shit. But I just didn't put it together this week. I just didn't have the time. But I have like about a couple of hours of documentation that's just gonna blow motherfuckers out of the water and shit, right? But the main thing that is coming to light since they've been doing these vaccinations is that these COVID babies are being born, but bruh, like these babies, like one key sign is they have, no matter what color they are, right? Black, white, brown, yellow, whatever, they have these massive black fucking pupils and shit. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
shit, black
You
eyed
know,
children,
yeah,
huh?
yeah, yo. And it's so funny because I'm in the exopolitics like a motherfucking sci-fi, all of that shit, So I'm always listening to these people over years talk about all of these different ETs and shit like that or whatever that they see. And like these black-eyed children look just like these fucking pictures of like these so-called hybrid kids and shit, but it goes even deeper. So what they're finding, what is looking like is that these kids are more developed. Their brains are more developed than your average non-vaccinated child on average
Mm.
because they're finding that like and this is all documented, like in video and shit. These kids that are like weeks old are sitting up straight. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
And like
shit.
looking around and shit. You got kids that are like 3 months old and shit that are walking, talking,
Oh
all of this
damn.
shit, bro. This is
Yeah.
what's happening right now. But these are only the kids that have been
Is
vaccinated.
it only the kids that have been vaccinated that they
Only the
found
kids.
it? Only
Yes.
okay. Because when I saw that, I just watched the video and I when you're trying to figure out like, yo, what's going on now? Why are things being pushed? Why do they want to test everything? I've just one come to the conclusion after a while of just observing is everything's about DNA and genes and genetics. Everything's about experimentation, testing, and gathering data. So whatever is going on, whatever numbers they're putting out, they're gathering DNA data and testing for whatever they want to do for whoever they want to find with whatever certain types of genes. I definitely know understand the Earth is going through a phase. People talk about the sun. We're going into a grand solar minimum and how that's going to affect humans as far as how we're like evolving in the atmosphere and environment that we're facing. So with all that, it's thinking about yes, I understanding that humans definitely have been experimented on by other humans. It's like we're kind of over thousands of years. I think have been genetically tested and coming up with different versions of us. So that's I think where the what I think of a breakaway civilization, people who either have left the planet, changed themselves, have had civilizations that have grown, people left either coming back or having more control, whether it's like beings who are on a different frequency, but definitely helping with testing and guiding humanity where they want us to go. So with the shots and the vaccines, I've always wondered if one, they're trying to either stop different upgrades that are happening to people naturally, like as human beings,
Yes. Yes.
or
Hmm.
different ways to enhance. My not even approaching it from like a good or bad thing, where it's like they understand what they want to bring out in certain groups of humans moving into the next phase of like this Earth, and we're going to the Aquarius age and whatever that has to do with how that changes us. So it's like either good or bad, whether they're trying to like kill off certain people or enhance genetically more enhance certain people with different genes. Seeing that got me wondering, like, moving into the future, we'll definitely see whether it's natural or not, like
Nah,
superhumans
bro.
or
I'm
people where it
Yeah.
has people with like, either telekinesis type things and just being able to like be at a higher frequency. So I'm kind of like wondering the battle between what they're trying to do with the, pushing the shot on people who are pregnant.
bro.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is though it is a process of elimination. And they know that also by even developing it, that hey, we gotta know how far this thing goes. So really right off the top it is a process of elimination. It's like the survival of the fittest.
Yeah, these are
And
not. No, go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead.
go. Oh yeah, like I mean, not only that, like as far as even with us, they actually trying to put everyone in a box. Like, okay, if you're not going to cooperate, guess what we're going to do? Like I said, Gattaca style.
Hmm.
Hey, you're inferior now. So now that's going to put pressure on those individuals, to give up their lives, basically. You're giving up your life. That's just I can't say, dude. You're giving up your life. You whatever freedoms, whatever. No, you're giving up your life for what? I mean, just think about for what. So you could be part of their freedom, I guess.
Yeah, like Andrew, like
But
Andrew
yeah, it's a
Wiggins,
process of elimination.
like Andrew
Yeah.
Wiggins said, I guess we don't own our own bodies no more. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to take you because this is Sunday service. You know what I'm saying? So I want to even put it in historical text, going back to Genesis. And God said, "Let us make man in our image." Okay, and Genesis, whatever, chapter 6:1, some shit like that, right? When first of all, God is plural, which is interesting to me. You know what I'm saying? And then God tells the other gods, let us make man in our image. You know what I'm saying? And if you guys are familiar with the Sumerian text and the work of most notable Zechariah Sitchin, he
Yeah.
goes in great detail. I've read quite a few of those books, but the
Hmm.
12th planet is the pinnacle of all of those books, which was written in 1976. Zechariah Sitchin, the 12th planet. There's a series of books he did called the Earth Chronicles. The first one came out in 1976. I think the last one came out sometime like in early 2000s or something like that. Um, he basically says that he's translated the Sumerian text, which tells a story of these Anunnaki or Nephilim who interface with human and mankind at different points in the history of the planet. And basically, what they did was essentially they genetically modified certain beings on the planet that gave you your Homo sapien and what we're now in Homo sapien sapien. You know what I'm saying? Like all
Yeah.
that is real. All that is real. So and they talk about this rhesus factor. You know what I'm saying? Um, that lets you know immediately that there are aspects of humanity that have been manipulated with. You know what I'm saying? Not all of humanity, because and a lot of people don't know this, and I don't even want to get into this shit too deep, but you have original man and you have mankind. That's 100% fact. You have original man and you have mankind. Okay? Now mankind consists of Homo sapien and Homo sapien sapien. This is where you have your R complex. This rhesus
Hmm.
this rhesus monkey factor. So if you go look through all your holy books, you know what I'm saying? Like you literally, they've got like, little tablets and shit where you see motherfuckers doing the little experiments in the lab, and they got like little fucking human embryos inside the fucking
Hmm.
flask and shit. This is from like hundreds of thousands of years ago. So we can clearly see that energy and these same characters are responsible for all the chaos that's going on right now.
I wouldn't be surprised, not one bit, man. I had a chat with a Jehovah Witness brother, and like I told him, I'm like, hey, those same people that actually persecuted Jesus, they're the same people now. That they haven't went anywhere. They're still running the show. I mean, you think Rome disappeared? No, it didn't. No, it just went to something else. That energy is still around. I mean, it's evident. I mean, dude, it's so evident that it's the same stuff. But like I told him also, like when I told him to look at that trailer Lamb, and he referred me to what's that, Revelations 12 verse 9 about the dragon. And like I told him, I'm like, hey, you know what? If the dragon's here, then he's here also. Then he said that, well, Jesus will come back. So somewhere it could be he could be back. So the thing is that does give hope for those who have faith. Of what's going on out here. Also, that's very important. Is the faith. But yeah, I know what you're saying with the Zechariah Sitchin thing too, though. That's some deep stuff there. Definitely
Yeah.
building
So
mankind.
yeah, yo. So what was those other topics you had on the deck, AE?
Let's see. So I don't know if you want to get into topics real quick, but I was seeing that the U.S. One of our shows. So we got a show, Crypto and Down. We were talking about the other day. Someone asked a question like, do you think China would invade Taiwan? We kind of were just talking about geopolitics and things like that. And I came across an article recently that said it's from The Hill that said U.S. troops have been secretly training forces in Taiwan for the past year, and that certain generals were saying that they were worried or concerned that maybe China would try to invade Taiwan sooner than they'd previously thought. And then this Philip Davidson, the former
Hmm.
head of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, he told senators in March that China could try to invade Taiwan in the next 6 years. So we were kind of talking about just war, how we think there's a war going on, and this was in relation to the social media blackouts. So, and information kind of being stopped, the Pandora Papers released. So, thinking about like, okay, war, there's an information war going on with an actual war break out between certain countries, and it turned into like a shooting war. And then just seeing this article that just made me think of how definitely there is a preparation for it. I know on the U.S. side for one, and then things I hear about happening in China. But yeah, what do y'all think? One, about would China invade Taiwan, and then if that did happen, I don't know how many people in America would want to go to into another war, considering we just kind of got out of one just recently. What are your thoughts on that?
Go ahead, Nate. Can you hear me, Nate?
No.
All right. Well, Nate having some technical
Yeah, I don't
difficulties.
think. Say for instance, I'm learning from example here. This administration. This. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we got
can.
it. Go.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got it.
Hold
You
on.
good?
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, yeah, you good. You good.
Anyone can hear me? Okay,
yeah, we.
all right, you got me. Yeah, I
Uh,
got bad signal here. Hold on, I gotta get up inside this car real quick. I'm at the gig. As
yeah,
far
yeah.
as that
Yeah.
Taiwan thing, man, I'm learning from example of what this administration has done. Man, they have actually dropped the ball on everything. Everything, and they want to blame it on the last one. You know, I mean, Afghanistan was a huge failure. I mean, a surprisingly huge failure. I didn't know they was gonna mess up that bad, dude. Giving up every damn thing and cutting and running like that. That was bad. And that right there shows weakness, like a great weakness. There's absolutely no way that they can even prepare to even, counter whatever China would throw on Taiwan. I mean, China could invade Taiwan today, or even 6 years from now, if these knuckleheads are still in office, and there's not a damn thing they can do about it. And I don't think there's nothing that they can do about it because, I mean, if you think about it, the wolves are in the hen house now, man, and they're not going to do anything to bite the hand that really feeds them now. I mean, China and whatever resources that these criminals are being fed from, on the political sector, they're not trying to do anything to offset their livelihoods now. It's not about America no more. It's about actually them, working for some damn body. But Taiwan, I mean, like I said, they could invade Taiwan today, man, and there's absolutely nothing that we can do about it because, like I said, Afghanistan was a huge failure, and it was a big black eye on this country, big black eye.
Well, I will say this: what we call a failure in this bizarre world that we exist, what we call failure, the the redacted deplorable class calls success. You know what I'm saying? That's real
Oh
talk.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they didn't fail over there. They did exactly what they were going to do. So, but in order to in reference to your question, Asher L, regarding Taiwan, I'll give you a short answer and a long answer. My short answer is again, going back to these breakaway civilizations and these frequencies that are not native to this planet, I feel like they want this planet to be exactly what Mars is now, which is basically like a, a radioactive fucking, you know, like the smoke still clearing from fucking the wars they had fucking millions and millions of years ago.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Now, like a longer answer is Zbigniew Brzezinski, again one of these you know idiots that have maintained this control through politics and destabilization globally, geopolitics. He wrote a book
Hmm.
called, he wrote a book, I think it was in the 70s, 76 or something like that, called The Grand Chessboard.
Yeah, it was a good
And
read. Yeah.
yeah, in that book, yo, he literally breaks down the strategy um, for global domination from then to now. And it's so funny now that, a lot of this information, you get it in like isolation and pieces and shit like that. And then when you step back, you know, it can be put together. So when I see and I understand that this is like, I think Nate, you said this early on when you first started talking, you were saying that this has been the plan the entire time. That's kind of what we've been talking about on here for like a month today, because this is our fourth session. We've been basically illustrating how the plan has been in place this entire time. Like this is not just happening yesterday. This whole thing of COVID and this whole shit with cryptocurrency and blockchain and all of these things that we think are so random, we have these small group of people behind the scenes that are crafting the society and their vision, you know what I'm saying, and how they see fit. And what
Hmm.
and as far as like this geopolitical game, America made China. That's what people don't understand. We made China. Bill Clinton is
Yeah, absolutely
responsible
right.
for everything
Right.
that's going on with China right now because he's the one that brought China into the global scene. It's because of Bill Clinton that like China was like fucking out there in the wilderness and shit. No Western powers fuck with China. We didn't do business.
Exactly.
We didn't do business with China. It was nothing. They were poor as fuck. They were like on the verge of fucking like complete collapse. And Bill Clinton gave them a bone and then told the rest of the West and ultimately the whole fucking world, China's gonna be your fucking Walmart, your dollar store. So
Hmm.
what's happened since the 90s up until now China has basically flipped the script, taken all that money that they've gotten from our consumerism in the West and shit, and they basically fucking trying to colonize the entire fucking planet. But that's part of the geopolitical game. We built them up so they can do exactly what they're doing right now. So we can be having this conversation that Asher L posted and shit. So my answer is yeah, I think that China will definitely, be aggressive. Whether or not it's in Taiwan, if that's going to be like the jump off, I don't know. But I do think that China will be aggressive in one of these territories that the U.S. hold dear, just so they can spark this shit off. You know what I'm saying? A hot war.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I've heard, and that sounds very similar to what happened for World War II, as far as building up, funding Hitler. This side, like between England or Great Britain and the U.S., kind of doing the same thing over over in China over the last few years, and then you got I guess the Israel factor as well, coming in there and playing geopolitically. So it's with leaving Afghanistan, like you're right there, and I think China moving in there. There are hotspots all over the world where they could try to kind of seize and take more power. They are also, it's like they're running into their own issues as well, and I think going to war helps cover up issues that are going on in your country. So it may be in their interest to help start a war. One, so they can maybe come down harder on their population who are not necessarily enjoying what's going on under that like communistic regime. So yeah, like you said, they could definitely, maybe not Taiwan, but try to take some other territory of the empire. But then thinking about the whole global aspect of these like deplorables working with like the communists in China and throughout the entire world to take over. It's one of those things where whatever happens, it's going to be a worldwide thing between every seems like a lot of different countries and their ruling class of people. So it's another world war, but different in the aspect of every country is going to have to deal with itself and their leadership that has been put there systematically over decades to steal from
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
That, I can agree with that for sure. And also, I'm just gonna touch on something you were talking about earlier, Asher L, as far as like this whole like genetic manipulation aspect of things, and you were wondering like if these guys are benevolent. I can tell you that they're not. What I'm saying? All you got to do is look at the whatever point in the immediate history, 100 years, 500 years, whatever the fuck, however, wherever you want to go with it. Or even as Nate say, going back to 2,000 years ago when they lynched, Jesus and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then they telling everybody to run around here and be Christians or whatever the fuck. Yo. I mean, this whole shit. I mean, literally, everything is sacrilege in this reality, yo. That's why I'm saying, like, whoever is in control of this shit, they're not human. Because think
No,
about
they're
it.
not. Yeah, no,
Since
they're
the
not.
time, since the time that they put that nigga on the cross and shit, 2,000 years ago, that's not a long time. First of all, 2,000 years is not even fucking ancient. It's fucking basically like an eyelash, you know.
Yeah, if yeah, that's
So I'm saying 2,000 years ago to now, there has been a succession of deplorable motherfuckers have been ruling the world, yo, and it has been unbroken. How the fuck can that even be possible? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
How how can
exactly.
how can you get a group of people, what I'm saying, over such a long period of time to maintain control, of humanity? That shit, I mean, to me, that's not even realistic and shit. If it was everything was going naturally and organically, you would think someone along the way will be like, hold on a second, we doing what? We going out here and massacring motherfuckers? Like, for what reason now? And I'm supposed to put my name on that? But no,
Yeah,
nigga.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? The 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s, you know what I'm saying? The 1900s. You have had a consistent line of people that have been in control of the planet and have pushed us further away from our humanity and like the gods and goddesses that we truly are. You know what I'm saying? They pushed us away from that and given us something else and told us this is what you should worship. And so
Yeah.
this is where I think that we're going and shit. You know what I'm saying? I think ultimately, because again, all you got to do is go back in history. So this is an article I found about this new technology that has been patented. And this is not the only people that are doing this, but they're calling it human brain cloud interface.
Hmm.
All right.
Internet of bodies. That's what that is. Internet of bodies.
Yep. And speaking of movies, there was this movie from the '90s. I think it was called Hijack, something like that, where Mick Jagger was actually in the fucking movie.
Free
But
Jack.
Free
Yeah, Free
Jack,
Jack. Yeah, Free
Free
Jack.
Jack,
Yeah,
Free Jack,
that
yeah,
was
Free Jack.
good. That was good. Yeah.
I was very little, but I vaguely remember that movie and shit, and I just remember they were basically hooking them up to some device and shit, and they were like putting thoughts into their brain. Isn't
Yeah.
that what it was and shit? They were putting thoughts
Yeah.
into their fucking brain, and they were having these experiences like they were real. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I'm not gonna read all this. I'm just gonna read just a paragraph so you can see how crazy we're about to get to in the future. You know what I'm saying? So it says the internet comprises a decentralized global system that serves humanity's collective effort to generate, process, and store data, most of which is handled by the rapidly expanding cloud. A stable, secure, real time system may allow for interfacing the cloud with the human brain. One promising strategy for ending such a system, denoted here as a human brain cloud interface or BCI for short, would be based on technologies referred to here as neuro nano robotics. Future neural nanorobotics technologies are anticipated to facilitate accurate diagnosis and eventual cures for the 400 conditions that affect the human brain. Sounds great, right? Um,
Mhm.
Neural nanorobotics may also enable brain computer interface with controlled connectivity between neural activity and external data storage and processing via the direct monitoring of the brain. So anyway, it goes on and on to get into the science. I'm not going to get into that, but basically what they're saying is they want to put your fucking brain connected to a cloud where they can basically like make you superhuman, where you have access to all the fucking information ever known to man simultaneously and shit. This is how they're selling this. So they're telling you that, you're gonna be fucking like everybody's gonna be brilliant, you know what I'm saying? And everybody's gonna be able to just resolve everything like just by being connected to this cloud and shit like that. Whatever.
Man.
So
Don't
Yeah.
buy it.
Ghost in the Shell, man. That's like Ghost in the Shell or some shit right there, man.
100%. 100%. So to me, that's why I see this shit going. There's no benevolent characters here, and all of these pillars of human interaction that you were talking about earlier, Asha L, they're fucking rotten at the core. So it's interesting because from my perspective, this whole shit has to burn, but we have to fucking plant seeds before we burn the fucking field and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's how I see it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the new world can rise up as the other one crumbles.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
that's what that's
man.
where I see this shit going. What do you think about that, Nate? What do you see
Oh,
like the end game being in all of this shit?
all the end game is like if you do it, you're superior. If you don't, you're inferior. That's basically the end game now, man. Because I mean, well, like I say, there is no fiction no more, and the art showing you, man. The art is showing you that hey, this is what's going to happen. If you do, this is what's going to happen when you don't.
Yeah.
And that's the internet of bodies. What's going on with that right there. The pacemaker is going to make your heart throb. It's going to take place of your heart damn near, or like the neural link in your brain is going to think for you. Even before you even think of any damn thing, it's going to like, oh yeah, you want that coffee? That coffee's already ordered. Just go pick you up. Dude, it's. I'm telling you, dude, it's they like light years ahead. They're like 10, 15 years into this shit, man.
Bruh, yo,
And
more like 150 years, yo. No bullshit.
yeah, that was an underestimation right there.
For
Definitely.
real. But
Yeah,
I just think that yeah, yo, they're the opposite of nature. They want to take us away from nature. This is the only way they can maintain their presence here. You know what I'm saying? Because we are organic sentient beings. You know what I'm saying? We need sunlight, we need water, we need air. You know what I'm saying? We need fucking interaction with other sentient fucking beings. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to separate us, put us in the fucking pods, disallow us from going out into the fucking sun, which is why all these motherfuckers ended up getting sick in the first place from fucking COVID, because wasn't getting
Mhm.
vitamin D. And this is why it affected more fucking black people all across the fucking world. When I say black people, I'm talking black, brown, and yellow people, melanated fucking people. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I've been watching documentation from all over, and everywhere I see COVID is affecting like black people, brown people the most. All these different people. It seems like is affecting us the most. For one reason is because we're the ones working. In these what do they call them? First fucking like whatever, like the grocery stores, the banks, all these places and shit. So we're the ones that's having to deal with everybody because we have to be out there more than a lot of other people would for one. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But
Well, it's
also,
also a lack of preparation from those folks, also. Because I'm part of those. I'm part of that clique too. Like with the first responders, not first responders. The ones that got to work through this.
yeah.
So our group was already like, hey, you know what? If you get sick, you stay home for 4 days. Let us know in 4 days if you got it. If you don't, then you got to report back to work. We were all through that, right? But like I was telling folks, like, hey man, load yourself up, man. Load your immune system up. And some took the advice, and guess what? They didn't get sick. Unlike the government telling you just to stay home and play TikTok all day, they didn't they didn't do anything either. Like, oh yeah, take some zinc, take some vitamin D for God's sake. I mean, do something else instead of like I say, play TikTok all day and stuff, man. Waiting for them to release you. You know, like man, you all.
Yo,
Yeah, that was. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
these cats are devilish because they're telling you to go home um, and sit for 5 days. When all the documentation is coming out, is telling us that those first 5 days are fucking crucial if you get this shit. And because
Exactly.
if you treat it with everything you said plus ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, or quercetin in conjunction with
Mhm.
zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin D. You know what I'm saying? If you treat it with
You're
those
good to
things,
go.
yo,
Yeah.
you'll be up and running within those 5 days. But they're
Yep.
telling you to go home, sit there, and let that shit incubate. Once you get sick, then go to the fucking hospital and let them make you sick again.
No, they'll kill you. That's where they all dying at, dude. At that place, they dying at that place. Two of my cousins died at that place, man. They
Yeah,
didn't come back out. Yep.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
real talk.
Yeah. It's like a crazy world where everything's the opposite of what it should be, like going to the hospital. And it's like, yeah, living in different realities where I can, over the year, I see, people in the hospitals, nurses giving the real about what's actually going on.
Yeah.
And it'll be a leak here from this, from this social media channel or that social media channel will come across a timeline, but you know, it's just other people are living in a whole different reality where, yeah, the information war is so real.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the first thing that they attack is always the truth, man. They always attack the truth, and that's why the media the way it is now, with the alphabet soup media, I call them,
Right.
man. They're dangerous, man. They're evil. They're absolutely evil. The disinformation is horrendous.
well,
It's not
right
just
now,
misinformation. It's like disinformation.
we're gonna get to the origins of that with the sermon for the service this Sunday.
All right.
Um, can the church say amen?
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
So it's funny, you brought up this disinformation and misinformation, Nate, because turns out this whole system, this whole playbook that they're using was invented by the nephew of one Sigmund Freud. This
Edward
this
Bernays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bernays, Edward Bernays. So he is who they give credit to as the father of propaganda, and
hmm
they mistake your code turned into public relations because that sounds a bit more sweet. So what I thought would be interesting to do is go back and really just flip through a couple of Bernays' quotes, and we can talk about them in relation and contrasting to this public relations campaign that has been permeating since December of 2019 with regards to this COVID phenomenon. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm just going to give you a quick Wikipedia breakdown of this cat, Edward Bernays, and then we're going to get into some of his quotes and we're going to discuss that. So, from Wikipedia, uh, says Edward Bernays, uh, November 22nd, 1891. He's from Germany. He was an American pioneer in the field of public relations and propaganda, referred to in his obituary as the father of public relations. Bernays was named one of the 100 most influential Americans of the 20th century by Life magazine. He was the subject of a full length biography by the father of spin, called The Father of Spin in 1999, and later an award winning documentary was made by the BBC called The Century of Self. His best known campaigns included a 1929 effort to promote female smoking by branding cigarettes as feminist torches of freedom, and his work for United Fruit Company in the 1960s connected with the CIA orchestrated overthrow of the democratically elected Guatemalan government in 1954. He
hmm
worked for dozens of major American corporations, including Procter and Gamble, General Electric, and for government agencies and politicians and nonprofit organizations. Right. So that gives you a little glimpse glimpse into the bio and profile of Edward Bernays. You guys want to speak on that before we get into it?
No, let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
Cool,
Mhm.
cool. All right, so this we're gonna just go through some quotes, and then we can just break down what each of these quotes is really talking about from what's going on right now today. So one of his quotes, it says, "The engineering of consent is the very essence of the democratic process, the freedom to persuade and suggest." All right. So to me, what's important in this one, he's talking about engineering of consent, and we can clearly see that this is one of the mechanisms that's in full force right now. This whole thing has been about engineering consent. Okay, they had to show you and tell you and threaten you and fearmonger you more and show you more and threaten you more. Okay, and now that has just ratcheted up to now it's just straight up Nazi Gestapo. Either you fucking get this fucking mark of the beast or you fucking less than human.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? So all of this you guys are seeing right now, and all of this divide and conquer tactics. There's a playbook for this, and it was written by this man Edward Bernays. Move on to the second.
Yeah. That's no lie there. Definitely. Yeah.
All right. Another quote from Bernays, it says, "If we understand the mechanism and motives of the group mind, it is now possible to control and regiment the masses according to our will without them knowing it."
Mm.
What comes to your mind, Asher L, when you read a quote like that?
I think hive mind. Uh,
So
yeah. Uh, Understand the mechanism motives of the group mind, because it's like, yeah, the group mind. What is the group mind? It's like, you think of it. It's, it also takes on like a spiritual aspect too, I guess. Of But that's, I think when I saw that, the first thing that popped into my head was like hive mind. That also ties in with what's being done is to create a sort of hive through the media of, and it's getting more and more visible, I guess, just because you can see it through social media. Understanding how that's manipulated, you can definitely tell them trying to create a hive mind, so to speak, of just people who will, all they got to do is feed them cues, and then everyone around you will just kind of like, not, I guess zombie's a harsh term, but just kind of acting as one accord. And it's like they've definitely pulled off this quote right here. It's like
true.
this man would be, having a party, seeing what
Yeah,
they're able to do
yeah,
today.
yeah. What do you think about this quote, Nate?
I guess that could trail of breadcrumbs going to the cooker for the birds, basically. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just follow it. That's it. Just follow. No nothing. Yeah. We'll give you what you need. Just come up in here and we'll take care of the rest. That's
yeah.
basically what I get out of that one.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
So
I just
so
watched
to
the first episode of, sorry, Squid Game,
oh
and
yeah, I
that
was
I was thinking of like, yeah, understanding the motivations of those people, and I guess that ties into what are the motivations of people. If you can get everyone in debt, then you can really you'll understand their motivations, and have a better control of kind of steering them where you want them to go, because everyone has debt hanging over their heads.
yeah.
Hunger Games, baby. Yep. Hunger Games.
So
Man.
to me, when I look at this, like the one thing that's like definitely the group mind thing, and we saw the slide before where they're talking about engineering consent, right? But what's really critical to me, where it says it is now possible to control and regiment the masses according to our will without them knowing it. All right. This
Mhm.
is so fucking significant. And I talk about this a lot, and all of the stuff that I put up and shit. Like this subliminal coercion that's going on and shit based on this technology and based on their use of symbols, and imagery.
Mhm.
All right. You know what I'm saying? So They're engineering the masses for groupthink, and we don't even fucking know this shit is happening. We think that we're actually coming up with these ideas and these thoughts and shit like that or whatever, while subtly, over time, we're being like seated in our subconscious and shit with all of these symbols and imagery. You know what I'm saying? Through these pillars of human interaction that Asher L was speaking of earlier, all of those pillars and shit. This is what they do in order to engineer this fucking group consent. You know what I'm saying? That's what's so scary.
Mm-hmm.
It would be one thing if we were very aware of what was being engineered, you know what I'm saying? Like underneath this whole system and shit to move us towards the fucking cliff, essentially. But most of us are not even aware. To me, that's like the most fucking shocking thing when I read that fucking book. Because you can clearly see it all around us with this current situation.
Yeah, you can definitely. Well, I mean, if you look at most aspects of history, people's participation in things like, say, for instance, like for example, the Revolutionary War. They've actually said statistically only 13% of the U.S. population at the time, not the U.S. population, it wasn't U.S. at the time, I'm sorry. In the 13 colonies at the time, only took part of the revolution, of the actual war itself. And that right there, it's like a light bulb in my head. I'm like, well, okay, so then that means probably in history, say for instance, like the Civil War, you have like a very small segment of the population that actually fought in the Civil War, even knew about what even was going on in the Civil War. And again, I was like, wow. So you mean to tell me that it's always been like a 90 to 95% out there that's just not going to do any damn thing? They just hang on to other people, to do this and do that for them. And then you got like 5% that actually want to help the what's that, the 95, 90 or 95%. Then you have like the 10% that in control of every damn thing and every damn body. And within that 10%, you got 1%. Like, and then when you look at it, it's like, holy shit, it seems like, it's layered truth to that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and that just got me thinking about you talking about symbols you see in society. Obviously, there's like the red and blue symbolism that always like gets shown
Mm-hmm.
to us, and then understanding like how change gets brought about. But just um, it's like you got to play both sides. So whoever is like these, you just knows that people, politicians play both sides, organizations play both sides from both campaigns. But just understanding that principle and extrapolating it up further of like I mean, you see people say play extreme, so then they can kind of control and push along where they want to do. So if it's like, yeah, only say 13% or 10% of the population gets involved, the extremists on different ends, and then they battle it out, and then they can kind of guide society where they want to go, using like the fervor of a few smallest percent of people who may have, see things on their way in either side, but then yeah, it's just interesting to think of like, things getting decided by a small group of people taking up action, but then even those people taking up action being influenced by outside forces, kind of stirring them in certain ways as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The majority never change shit. There's always that small fucking spark of groups of people who are just fed up and shit, and then everybody ultimately comes along or whatever. That's generally how it works. We'll go on to this next slide. All right. So it says we are dominated by the relatively small number of persons who understand the mental process and social patterns of the masses. It is they who pull the wires which control the public mind. Again, that's what you guys were just basically touching on as well. The same thing. You have a small group like that 10%. Within that 10%, 1% is controlling that, and then again, we don't know who controls that 1%. That's what I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So the next quote is, if you can influence the leaders either with or without their conscious cooperation, you automatically influence the group which they sway. So again, this is straight out fucking the Club of Rome. I put out a clip a few weeks ago, Nate. Uh, it's from 1973. and it's called "Computer Program Predicts the End of the World by the Year 2060." I think it was.
Mhm.
And it was actually the same year that the Club of Rome was founded. And this reporter is interviewing these guys, and they're like talking openly about how they want to fucking come in and dominate sovereign nations and basically take the hands of power away from the leaders of these nations needed to get on board with their plan, otherwise they will be basically dealt with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they will
Mhm.
ultimately have like a legion of leaders all around the world and shit that bought on to their plan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
And
look at
they
Gaddafi.
Yeah, so they cooperated like either willingly or by coercion and shit. But the ultimate result was they needed to fucking make the world smaller by centralizing control. You know what I'm saying? Wiping countries off the board, controlling the countries that are still on the board, and continue the process of centralization until there's one world government. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Straight up. So I think this
Yeah,
particular quote too. Go ahead. Go
that's
ahead,
I
bro.
was just thought of the Tower of Babel, um, and then that getting like the story in Genesis. They come and build a tower, kind of thinking that same concept of centralization, and then um, it getting broken up at the I guess seeming at the last minute, and everyone kind of decentralized again. So it's kind of like that cycle flow of humanity and control.
Yeah, that's the end game. All right, let's go next.
Yeah.
So this one goes: our invisible governors are, in many cases, unaware of the identity of their fellow members in the inner circle. Right. So
Wow.
they're saying it's compartmentalized, essentially. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like need to know basis and shit, just like the military. This is like a military strategy here. You only know what you need to know.
Right.
You never know the entire fucking plan. You only know what part of the plan that you're supposed to carry out and shit. You know what I'm saying? So this is well, like we are under like military occupation. You know what I'm saying? Not just with the bombs and the guns and shit, but through the propaganda campaign that they continuously throw at us for generations now. This shit didn't just start yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And it certainly didn't start with Edward Bernays. Who the fuck you think taught him? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's why Freud was one of them. That's why they give you Freud instead of Jung and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
Freud dealt with like this whole Oedipus complex and like all of this really like weirdo shit. You know what I'm saying? While Jung was dealing with like natural laws and its organic emanation and shit. You know what I'm saying? So positive plus negative equals life type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
This was Jung, where Freud was on boys are attracted to their mothers and vice versa and shit. You know what I'm saying? This is this is the boy Freud. This is what he was into. So
I don't have
this is
no
why
boy like that, man. I don't have
according
friends like that, man.
according to Freud, the Oedipus complex, little boys attracted to their moms and little girls that are attracted to their fucking fathers. This is the mind of they're calling the most brilliant psychologists of our time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know about psychology too, and how they actually pick things like, okay, yeah, we're gonna call it this sickness, or we're gonna call it this illness.
Exactly.
by consensus, basically, not even experimenting with it. So.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So this next quote is pretty fucking self-evident. Propaganda is the executive arm of the invisible government. You know what I'm saying? The invisible and the fucking visible government. You know what I'm saying? But that's why he said the executive arm because again, we know our world leaders are fucking puppets. We know they are. You know what I'm saying? So they're just propagandist utilities and shit, basically. So this next one is interesting. It says there are invisible rulers who control the destinies of millions. It is not generally realized to what extent the words and actions of our most influential public men are dictated by shrewd persons operating behind the scenes. So again, what he's telling you, and this is someone who's in the inside. This guy is obviously in this group of secret societies and shit like that or whatever. And he's telling you like the destinies of millions of fucking people in all of these nations and shit. you think that these great rulers, Barack Obama, fucking whoever the fuck, John Kennedy, you know what I'm saying, Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, whoever the fuck, all these rulers that you think are so great are fucking puppets, every single one of them. And the ones that realized that they were puppets and they tried to do the alternative, they ended up dead, like Kennedy,
Yeah.
like Abraham Lincoln, and all the way through the line, you see like these people who wanted to do the right thing, but this whoever is controlling this establishment of men and women,
Mhm.
these conspirators and shit, whoever is controlling them, they have so much power because there's no point in history where you can go back from like the 1400s all the way through and you look, and when they talk about these group of men that move in secret and in the fucking shadows and shit, and how much control and power they had even back then, before the fucking first president of the corporation was ever fucking nominated and shit, you had these groups of fucking people which clearly these men with power, so-called power, were aware of and was completely fucking afraid of. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't
Mhm.
sound like some human organization to me. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck can wield so much power over centuries and millennia and shit, like untethered? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see how that's humanly possible, but clearly it's possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you can see, for example, and it's ironic that you brought up Obama because remember his last. I think one of his last things he did when he left office. What was that? The NDAA Part Two or the DARPA Part Two? He weaponized propaganda,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, he made it legal. Yeah.
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 So you seen it was like a on switch for the alphabet soup media, man. They're throwing everything at you now. Everything just to deceive you now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. It's like he was the nail, or he was the one to come in and just open up and allow them free reign over America, essentially. And like not only in that way, but in, I guess other ways I can't think of off the top of my head, but kind of like understanding where he fits into the whole picture of all these presidents down the line, different ones who've gotten assassinated, and him coming up and understanding that whole power structure of, I guess I'll just call it communism, moving throughout the world and spreading from country to country, having safe havens. It was like, yeah, he was like when he came in, it was kind of like, okay, this USA stuff is finito. And now, and then
hmm
now it's like these agencies, considering I guess he's a child of the alphabets,
Yeah.
Charlie Indigo Alpha. Since he came in, it's like, okay, yeah, he let them run ramshot. So now it's like you can tell, I guess, the war against the citizens. It doesn't have to be as a street anymore. The war of like the intelligence agencies against the people
Yeah.
and their
And yeah,
corporations behind them.
you're right. It peacocked during the age of Obama. And next Sunday, I'm gonna pull up these. So I screenshotted this shit. Like I think I told you about this before. Asha L. I used, I still have the page on group on Facebook. I just don't ever really fuck with it. But back during the day, I was posting from like maybe like 2010 to like 2012, like pretty consistently. And I was really documenting what I perceived to be the opening act for the end game, and I kept calling it the Civil War. With Obama brings in the opening act of the Civil War. I'm sorry, the race
hmm
war. The race war. Obama brought in the opening act of the race war, which will be followed by civil war. I literally got this shit immortalized in writing. This is like in 2012 and shit. Like earlier I was posting this shit. I kept updating every time I saw something that clearly was part moving toward this agenda. I just kept updating and shit. You know what I'm saying? Kept updating all this shit. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But when you go back and look at it, you clearly see what I'm saying is that, okay, you guys, right now the race war is starting. They're trying to foment this fucking race war, and this is gonna be the whole of this motherfucker's presidency. It's gonna go 8 years. It's gonna be 8 years of chaos. More niggas is gonna die than any other time in fucking any other presidency, and that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? He dropped more bombs on Africa than any other president. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he
Castro.
did.
You know what I'm saying? So
Gaddafi died on him.
Gaddafi died on his watch. They
Slavery
got
started up in Libya again under
yeah,
Yeah,
his
slavery
it
started
sure
in
did.
Libya, open air
Still
slavery.
going.
That
Syria.
yeah, they got Bin Laden on fucking Obama's watch. You know what I'm saying? And Obama gave the keys away to everything. Like that nigga, it's funny because Asher L and Jams, you haven't met Jams yet, but they do the Crypto and Down show together, and they call Joe Biden Ho Biden. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing I call Obama Obama. That's what I was calling Obama since like the get go. I was calling that nigga Obama. You will see no shortage of my posts on Facebook. Like when I'm referring to Obama, I'm calling this nigga Obama like all day and shit. So you got
Say
Obama and Obama.
Obama.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Hey.
and between those between Obama and nobody, at least Trump tried to fucking give the appearance that he was trying to save the republic on some level and shit. You know what I'm saying or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about that, and a lot of people didn't see that. Basically, he halted globalization, and people like, well, global what? Like, see, well, I can't talk to you now. See, you weren't paying attention. So, but yeah, and like I said about the war of propaganda, that was all against him, man. Like big time. I have not ever seen any human being go through what that guy went through. As far as the media and stuff, man. But uh,
Yeah.
you see what you get now.
Yeah, so that we still going through that. You know what I'm saying? But we'll keep going here. So the next quote it says, "People want to go where they wanted to be led." Right? You know what I'm saying? So again, like they use us, like they understand the psychology of us so hard. They've studied us and shit, and they just basically it's so easy to lead us. That's what really trips me out about humanity. Yo, we are gullible as fuck. That's what I think about human beings. We are the most gullible. If you look at other like species in the animal kingdom and shit, like we are gullible motherfuckers, yo. Like there's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
Like because we have this thing of reasoning
One of
or
the yeah.
emotion. I don't know, but like you don't see fucking other mammals acting like how we act and shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
No,
saying?
you don't.
It's like we
You
people
don't.
definitely want to fit in. Like, I can't I would say I guess it's human nature to want to be social, being social, want to be to fit in with the group. More some people more so than others, but like yeah, like it comes down to that sliding scale factor, and then understanding like okay, if they're only going to be 5 to 10% or 5 to 20% of people who are going to be like pushing and leading in a way, that's why those people are maybe more likely to face more propaganda in different ways than the regular populace, because it's like they can know they can control 90% of the people, but then they got to watch out for that 10 to 5% because that's maybe all it might take. So that's harder, and like I guess it's like Neo in the Matrix, that anomaly of people who are come up who like
Yeah.
mess up the plan of them steering humanity, whoever's doing it, that it's like the one thing in the system that probably ends up saving
Yeah.
humanity, because they can at the last second like be pushed by force by a small group of people in the direction that doesn't bring all of us to a complete end.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, well, how
Hmm.
that hit, and maybe that just repeats itself in history, and that's why this group, it'll start small, but it's something insidious that they can just come through and infect
Yeah.
humanity throughout the different civilizations that rise and fall. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of that spark, or that anomaly of people who make that difference to save humanity. I guess at the in the end,
Critical mass.
faith.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's where faith comes in, like you were
Because
saying earlier.
the only thing majority do is maintain the status quo. That's it. You know what I'm saying? The majority is gonna make sure shit stays the fucking same. So it's not gonna be the majority that sparked this shit off. Definitely not. We know that. Look at what's going on around us. Where you got every Tom, Dick, and Jane trying to tell you to look at the science when there is no fucking science. On the only science on this shit is the science that doctors have discovered after deployment. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
we can't get no documentation from the pharmaceutical companies. They don't have no
No.
fucking they don't have no 8 year to 10 year fucking peer reviewed studies and shit. They don't have that. So what are we really talking about? We look at the fucking science, because the science I'm looking at is telling me that this shit is worse than like Frankenstein meets goddamn Mothra and shit, yo. This shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? This shit is straight up like next level fucking genetic manipulation shit. And they literally turning us inhuman, yo. They're literally trying to turn us inhuman. That's
It's
why.
not the science, brother. It's not the science. No, look at our scientists. Trust the
Mhm.
scientists.
So
Because you're right. There is no damn science with this shit. If it was science, then it would have been questionable. It would have been debated. Yeah, these suckers, man, they're something else. Tell you, they are something else.
yeah, yo. So this next quote, he goes, "When I came back to the United States, I decided that if you could use propaganda for war, you could certainly use it for peace. And propaganda got to be a bad word because of the Germans using it. So what I was, what I did was try to and find some other words. So we found the word public relations, right? So
I remember that quote.
yeah, yo.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen this particular tactic used? You know what I'm saying? A company's names get burned. You know, that name is no longer fucking host currency. They just changed to a different name. You know what I'm saying? Over the years, and shit. All of these companies that were slave owners and slave holders and shit like that or whatever. Even like, fucking, you know,
Barclays.
yeah, Barclays. In the case of fucking
Hmm.
the Jews and shit, you got the IB Farben company and shit, BMW, you got Bayer. All of these companies are still fucking running, going strong and shit. You know what I'm saying? Some of the
Yeah,
biggest
That
still
fucking
around.
the Fourth Reich, man, the Third Reich and then the Fourth Reich just took over.
yeah, yeah. We in the fourth right now too.
Yeah, this is the Fourth Reich. We're fighting essentially.
All right, so this next one it goes. Any personal organization depends ultimately on public approval. And it is therefore faced with the problem of engineering the public's consent to a program or goal. This is where I get interested, and this is what you were just saying, Asher L, when you were talking about like this, like just like that small group of people and shit that's just not gonna fucking go with the program. You know what I'm saying? So even though they have this huge machine behind them, it requires public consent for any of this shit to work. You know what I'm saying? And think about it right now. Over here, we're hearing like in New South Wales, 80% fucking vaccinated. South Australia, 75%, this and that. Oh, in America, they're saying like 90% and some crazy number. So if you got all these big numbers vaccinated, then what's the fucking problem? Because
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
that
That
small group
yeah.
of
Uh-huh.
people, that critical mass is like no fuck you, but we're doing more than saying no fuck you. We're showing fucking receipts. All right. We are showing
Hmm.
you motherfuckers the receipts. We're showing you where the fucking problem is. We're showing you what the research says and shit. And they can't fight against that. You know what I'm saying? So all your 90% on average, probably worldwide, you say like 75% of these United Nations signatory states. You know what I'm saying? Like 75% of the populations are fucking vaccinated. Shouldn't be no problem.
Hmm.
Everything should be kosher, but nah, it's not, because these motherfuckers that are not vaccinated, we got the power. Not because we're not vaccinated, but because we got truth, yo. We speaking facts and shit. And
That's more important.
no
Yeah.
matter how big the monster in the machine is, bro, when you got facts on your side, that's just gonna spread like wildfire. We're just planting seeds, yo. That's it. They can't stop that.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Preach. Preach, brother, preach.
That's right, babe. That's right.
Yeah, man. So this one says now public opinion stood out as a force that must be managed and not through clever guesswork, but by experts trained to do that all important job. So basically, he's just alluding to they spend a lot of money and a lot of time trying to make us think and move and do like what they want. They spend a lot of time thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? All you motherfuckers, black, brown, yellow, pink, it don't fucking matter. There's only one or two classes here. I'm saying globally. You know what I'm saying? You got the people who know that freedom is real from a spiritual soul level. You know what I'm saying? And intellectually we understand that we are abundant. We live in abundance and shit. There's no lack. Even though this entire system, this entire framework of human interaction is based on lack, every single aspect of it. It's based on being in the negative before you can even start to live your fucking life. All right, we know that shit ain't fucking real. So you know what we're doing, as far as I'm concerned, our public relations, our propaganda is really fucking simple because all we gotta do is bring facts and speak truth and shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you deal with propaganda versus propaganda, even though you got that big machine behind you, at certain point, like that critical mass is gonna be enough to where people is gonna be all this group of fucking idiots that are following is gonna be unfucking deniable. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think. Either we're gonna go to war through this propaganda and shit, or we are literally going to have to fight. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even saying that shit to be hyperbolic or whatever, but they are not going to give us a choice, bro. That's the problem. What do you guys think
Yeah, I
about
got
that?
that feeling too. I do have that feeling that it's just going to be different from, like the Martin Luther Kings and Mahatma Gandhis and stuff. This is going to be different, and I think it's going to be fought differently. Also, maybe not blood on the streets, but I don't know. I just know that it's gonna come to a point that either you do this or you don't. There is no, it's not going to be an in between somewhere.
If
Yeah,
So,
Go ahead, Asher.
I was gonna say, yeah, I do think that in certain ways, but they're now I'm seeing they're separating people. Like people are moving to different states, and certain states are you can tell are coming down harder than others, even though they kind of fall under the same umbrella power structure and still profit from some of these same corporations. So it's like, once it may be something that happens over a period of time, but it's like first they got to separate the population more. As far as people who are in certain states, you're living, they're pretty much living under full communism. In other states, maybe in the South, aren't there yet, but it's still gonna slowly keep creeping more and more. So
hmm
I'm like, it's getting to that point where it's like, yeah, we're definitely gonna have to fight and throw it off, but maybe looking at the perspective of once people know that there is a fight, it may take a while to actually. It's like once people know about there's a fight to be like this is it, then that means that
Yeah,
we're more
so
likely to win. Good is more likely to win out. People understand it might take time to like scale back everything that has been leading up to now over centuries or decades or hundreds of years, but getting to that crucial point where people like understand, oh, it's a fight, then that's maybe that gives me light where like, okay, that once more people understand and you can get with truth on our side and facts can steer more of the population in the like right direction for humanity,
yeah,
and then starting to going through where like you were saying it's going to crumble down and scale back things that have been set in place to hurt humanity, but also having to build humanity back up in a way that serves people while still fighting and trying to take out the deplorables, because like you said it's not going to be nation, it's going to be different, not I think not nation versus nation, but it's like since it's everywhere and it's an idea
yeah,
um, that has infested humanity, kind of like a hive mind. So it's like everybody across the world is going to have to deal with it
yeah.
and
People,
that thought in its own way. Because it's like thinking of colonization. Colonization is definitely also it's done through force, but that's kind of like the last element. It's done through the mind first, whether it's done through maybe religion and taking people out and having a certain people have a certain sense of being better than everyone else so they can control for other people and send outside resources. So I think, yeah, this is we're getting to that point where it's like we're gonna have to fight, but once that fight really starts and is out in the open, then that works in the favor of truth.
hmm yeah.
yeah. I definitely agree with that for sure. I mean, but speaking of that fight and like motherfuckers holding the line. Did I send you the clip of the new Asher L, the clip of the new what do you call it? Surgeon General of Florida.
You may have. I'm not. No, I didn't see that. I
I
didn't.
heard of this. I heard of this. What happened with that?
So and I'll document this as well. This is going to be part of that documentation I'm going to do. But so the new Surgeon General of Florida, in his opening press conference, he essentially said that basically all of this fucking craziness is gonna have to stop. You people talk about science, but we have science here that clearly shows there's alternatives that are very effective to deal with this disease. He's talking like that. But when he's talking
Mm-hmm.
about like all of this vaccine passport nonsense and all of this shit, he's like, nah, we're not dealing with that. We're gonna do this sensible and reasonable. There's no scare tactics, just like very
Yeah.
calm, like very like reassuring to hear that coming from a fucking public official.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
He's not one of them, so that's why he said that. So he's now on the
Yeah.
Billy Boy payroll.
Mhm.
So yeah. He's cool.
Yeah,
He's cool.
yeah.
And there's a couple other states. I think I heard Montana has also did something like they're not gonna follow no mandate. They passed that with a law. They're not following no mandate.
Yeah,
So
and also,
that's a big plus.
and we were talking earlier before you came on, Nate. I think it was Switzerland. They've just completely killed the whole regime of mRNA vaccinations. The whole country is said, nah, forget about this. This shit ain't working.
Oh yeah, India. Yeah. They did. They basically got COVID free. No COVID deaths or nothing because they did the what? They did what worked first before they even went that way.
Yeah, so yeah,
Hmm.
in India, the state of Uttar Pradesh, UP,
Hmm.
they canned the whole fucking mRNA. They went back to ivermectin and
Yeah.
hydrochloroquine with amazing results. Switzerland, the country, the whole entire fucking country, they deaded that shit. They're not doing it anymore. The mRNA shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when
Look at
you see,
Norway. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So when I see that shit, that gives me like good feeling as well to know that you actually have whole, even though like small and relatively irrelevant to like the main scheme and shit. Like, I mean, people know, like, people respect these people for when they make these type decisions globally, you know what I'm saying, and they give them
Yeah.
the fucking
Exactly.
reasons. And all of these, pretty much all of Africa have been using ivermectin and hydrochloroquine the whole time. all in
Yeah.
south and all in South and Central America, you know what I'm saying, this is what they're using in majority of these fucking places, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. South
And
Africa. The I think it was the Attorney General of South Africa. He spoke out against this mess also, and Bolsonaro of Brazil. He even spoke out against it. It was like, hey, I'm not mandating anything unless the pharmaceutical companies give me a guarantee that this is
exactly,
going to work.
yeah. And we can hold you fucking liable when this shit don't work. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And what he said was like, well, okay, if I get injected with this, what, I'm going to look like an alligator? Am I going to look like a tree branch? I mean, like, what's your guarantee that it's going to work? Like, man, I tell you, I love it. I love it. And yes, that does give hope and faith that this is gonna come around in a different way. And if there's like a collection of nations, Portugal I think is a part of it now. Singapore, they say like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. They're like, fuck it. Because like
Well,
90% of their population is vaccinated, and they're not stopping anything. They're like, man, fuck it, we're done. We are done.
yeah, well, wifey's one of her good friends from university over here. She's Singaporean and she's been back there for quite a while and shit. And she's told wifey that she actually had to order this non-mRNA because they're actually allowing them to use other vaccinations besides the mRNA ones in Singapore.
Hmm.
You have to split the bill, but at least they're allowing you to access this shit. You know what I'm saying? So she
Yeah,
said
exactly.
she had to pay
Hmm.
like a fucking king's ransom for that shit, but she was able to get it. You know what I'm saying? So at least like even if they're gonna, places are, sensible. If you're gonna fucking have this shit, at least have alternatives as well. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
and give a choice. It's all about choice, man. God gave you a choice, and you're going to restrict that. You, a man's going to restrict what God has given us. Like, who the hell are you?
Yeah, and where is this shit really going? And do we want to go down this road with these fuckers? You know what I'm saying? I say no.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely not.
me too. Me
All
too.
right, so I'm gonna read this last one and shit, right? It says, "We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested largely by men we have never heard of." All right. The reason why I thought this was important, there's this saying that goes something like act local, think global. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to start acting local again. We need to build up our fucking communities and shit and make sure that our communities themselves are fucking sustainable because we have everything that we need inside community because we're the one planting the fucking seeds and shit. You know what I'm saying? This is the only way where this statement is not going to be true because the way I see it moving forward, this statement is only going to become more true, where there's going to be more faces that we never heard of that's going to be controlling everything that we see and hear, how we taste, what we taste, when we sleep, how we sleep, all these things. You know what I'm saying? Unless we decentralize our complete and total fucking lifestyles and shit, which brings us back to cryptocurrency. You know what I'm saying? And which brings the three of us back to a product like fucking Hex and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to show a little bit of how this whole propaganda, works and where it comes from, so people can clearly see that this is not some shit that just popped off and you're just hearing about it now. Like, everybody's just moving in real time to deal with the situation. This is a well orchestrated, planned out machine. The ultimate game is global
Hmm.
domination and submission and to control and track and trace your every fucking movement, your every breath. I even did a joint last week, Nate, about what was it? Bezos, fucking Amazon, just got a fucking patent to fucking basically record your dreams and shit. Record your fucking thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been experimenting for that for a while in Japan. To read your minds while you sleep.
Well,
Definitely,
Amazon got the
man, boy, I
patent,
tell you.
so
Ah, so now they're gonna make a hologram machine, probably. Yeah, Star Wars.
Right. Yeah.
yeah. So this is what we have to deal with moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Actually, L, I know you don't got no babies yet, right?
No, not yet.
Yeah, so I got one daughter, yo. We've been talking forever about having another one, man. But it's so crazy, yo. Like just the thought of, you know, having to bring a child into this fucking nonsense. I feel guilty as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to feel that way about like the most beautiful part of fucking life and shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's not just a matter of, oh yeah, let's have a baby and have a white picket fence, and that whole fucking reality is dead as fuck. That shit is gone. It's never gonna be again unless and until we fucking stand up and fight for our fucking right for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
you're
definitely
right.
agree with that. That's where, yeah, these different and the tech, it's like a ways emerging as it's closing in financially, and mandates coming down and people getting ultimatums. That's what's cool about blockchain and cryptos, is giving you that alternative to set yourself up for the future, make ways that you don't have to rely on the platforms that are centralized. You can build your own, use different protocols. I like someone, Vin Armani on Twitter, he talks about platforms versus protocols being more important moving into the future, and the skill sets that you learn along the way to be decentralized, self-sufficient, and kind of build your own community of like success.
true.
Just like Hex.
Yes,
Yep,
sir.
just like Hex, man. And this pulse chain, man, is gonna
Ooh,
be.
baby.
I mean, it's gonna be a volcano, dude. It's gonna be a volcano. Whoever didn't sacrifice, I feel for you because, man, I mean, woo! I'm looking at that bonding curve, man. That price, I'm looking like, oh my god, oh my god, dude, we're gonna be quadruple rich, man.
Yeah,
Quadrupled.
yeah.
Also on Pulse Chain, my friend Blex yesterday was telling me about liquid loans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
The
I heard
stable
about that,
loans. Yeah.
and that concept and mixed with the Pulse Chain, definitely has a way to be very decentralized on and off ramps, using
Oh
it
man, that's
for
gonna.
I think that's going to be amazing. So I'm excited for the project, Pulse, and yeah, start turning these games into like real life world action with that
Ooh,
money.
man.
Yeah,
And post swap. Now I'm waiting on that, dude. I am waiting for that. Man, look, I got my plate ready for post swap.
bro. If it does
Definitely.
anything, if it does anything close to Pancake Swap, yo, holy fuck. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah,
it is because it's going to bridge to all the ERC 20s. It's going to bridge to all of them, man. Whatever's on there. That right there is boom.
That's money, literally. Like, yeah,
so that LP
and
token is
and another thing with that the pulse, what's that? RH already said he's not going to provide any liquidity on it. So that right there too, man, means that whoever's holding it, and you're going to use it for transactions anyway. Whoever wants it now, dude. Oh my God, dude. I thought Hex was going to be like, over Pulse. No, Pulse is going to be like dude. It's going to be a volcano. I'm telling you. That and
yeah,
Pulse swap, them two
yeah.
together, dude.
Yeah, I think you I'm leaning more towards that way now and shit. But the only caveat I would say, it depends on if RH or the OA doesn't add any more liquidity on the each side to the hex pool before the snapshot, then it's beyond a shadow of a doubt. Pulse will be fucking the king. You know what I'm saying, for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
the only caveat I would say. But because if to me, I can't see how we can go over to the other block, the new blockchain, with only approximately 100 million like I mean hex available. You know what I'm saying, in the liquidity pools and shit. To me, that's, I don't see how that's gonna move hex forward. Like I don't see any big. I won't see any bigger rush to get into hex and shit, because if there's only going to be 100 milli, anybody who wanted Hex would be buying that shit up right now. Anybody who won Hex pretty much has that shit right now, right? And
Yeah.
if we're
Mhm.
if we're, if we're anticipating this thing to reach parity, you know what I'm saying, like, in a very short period of time and shit, then that pretty much means that most of those Hex is still going to be sitting there at that price, because nobody's going to want to buy them at that price and shit. You know what I'm saying? Not like in no big fucking numbers and
Yeah,
shit,
that is possible.
except for when new people come on and shit that got big bags and shit. Because who the fuck can afford to, really, buy like hex at the price that is gonna be around $1 and shit. Like if you want to get 1,000 hex, you got to pay $1,000, and then you gotta have to stake that for some extended period of time to see any fucking gains and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking about people who really only have like $1,000 and shit to spend or whatever. So I'm thinking, like, if it's like that, yeah, more of that money is gonna go towards fucking post chain, like heavily and shit. Because even me, like, even I've got like liquid hex right now and shit. But if the price stays like it is, or it's parity like anytime relatively soon and shit, I probably would just wait for my shit to reach parity on the other side and shit, and just stake that shit out to go along with my other
Yeah.
stakes I have already. But then that economic energy would then go back into more posts and shit. You know what I'm saying?
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Especially on
interesting.
the P hex
I'm
side
excited.
too.
Yeah. Hmm. Because I'm done, not done, but I'm just so tired of these Ethereum gas fees over the as I've been getting into, and that's just killed one of my excitement when I first started getting into the space and trying to make different moves. The Ethereum gas fees would just be like, well, what am I even trying this for? So with Pulse getting all those ERC 20s, and then having those transactions at least until years down the line it fills up, that's going to be, I think, crucial, where more people may have incentive to get on Pulse, maybe even go Hex on the Pulse. But I'm excited to see how everything plays out. But the cheaper transaction fees I think, are going to be huge for, and the swap, and with the swap too available, like, I can't imagine.
Yeah, liquidity provided.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
it's a whole new world. Whenever this conversation first started talking, like being had, like whenever he was just kind of throwing the idea around and shit, it's changed so much. You know what I'm saying? Like in a very small amount of time, like the whole thing is just like blossomed to just this fucking beast, yo. You know what I'm saying? This is unlike. anything cryptocurrency has ever seen, where like an entire fucking system state is being fucking duplicated over here and fucking reanimated over there in real fucking time with no fucking
Well,
loss, no slowdown, no nothing, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even think like all my imaginations. I don't think like put it like this. One thing. This is one thing I'll say. If we get this shit live by like end of October, first 2 weeks of November, I think that there will be so many post chain millionaires made by fucking New Year.
oh yeah,
You know what I'm
easy,
saying? You know what I'm
easy.
saying?
Shit, dude. Even with what's that? With the bonding price right now, you got post chain millionaires right now, dude. I mean,
True,
just think about that.
true.
Like, dude, you already got that right now. I mean, it is crazy. I mean, I'm looking at that damn bonding price. I mean, people still sacrificing right now. What was that? Someone gave up like
$400.
$100,000 in Matic. You know, they just threw $100,000 in Matic in yesterday, and what was that? Last week, someone threw in 300K.
Yeah,
Shit, they
that's
don't
what
care
I'm
about the
saying.
bonding curve. They just trying to get the shit before it comes up.
Yeah,
Shit, they don't
my homeboy
sacrifice.
told me that yesterday. Yeah, he told me somebody dropped like 400K just recently on fucking sacrifice. I'm like, what? Motherfuckers are still dropping that type of coin? I'm like, holy fuck,
Yeah,
yeah,
they still dropping it, man, because they know once it launches, it's not gonna be none available. Where the hell you gonna buy it? Where you gonna buy it, dude? So yeah,
it's,
I mean, really, if you want Pulse now, you probably should get some right now.
it's
You
probably
know,
not a bad idea.
it's probably not a bad idea. Yeah, the bonding curve is horrible, but now you know that RH said like, hey, I'm not providing no liquidity. So what does that tell you? Hey, you better get it while the getting's good right now, well, boom.
You better get what you can get, right? Yeah,
Heck yeah.
Me and my homeboy D Bax, and we was just having this conversation literally like a couple of hours ago and shit, like because we were when we first got into this shit, you know what I'm saying, like the whole sacrifice shit, we were still thinking that we were gonna come up on hex, you know what I'm saying, on this fucking P hex and shit. Like in our minds and shit, we were gonna fucking, have this sacrifice this snapshot bag and shit, bridge that shit over the fucking post and go crazy with fucking P hex and shit. But it looks like actually good thing that we had these stakes earlier, you know what I'm saying, from like, early on and shit, because pretty much like if you hadn't already gotten your position staked in fucking hex or whatever, bro, you in real trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
like for I'm saying motherfuckers who don't got like a bunch of fucking decimal points to write this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like your average, motherfucker out there and shit. You in some real trouble or whatever, but so now, as we're looking at, I'm like, yo, we were thinking fucking we were gonna be millionaires from Hex first. So it could be fucking post chain. It might be fucking by Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like no bullshit.
Yeah, no joke, man.
Oh
No
man.
joke. Absolutely no joke. And this NFT thing is going crazy.
Oh yeah,
It is
yeah.
absolutely going batshit crazy, man. I was on a chat last night. I think it was his name is Sheridan. And I went on there, man. They were talking this NFT shit and how they do this, how they do that. My damn brain was just boggling. Like, how the what? Like you pay that much for that? For a group of what?
Yeah,
I'm
that
just
shit's
thinking about
crazy.
post chain, dude. I'm just thinking about post chain, man. Boy, y'all need to come, dude. It's gonna blow people's minds away.
Yeah.
And what's horrible is the media suppression. I mean, you don't hear what's that? Coin Telegraph, Coin Desk. They ain't said nothing about post chain, nothing. And man, people are going to get blown away when they see this damn price of this damn coin. I mean, even starting off at 10 cents, if it's possible, 10 cents. I
Yo,
wouldn't even be surprised.
yo, like my homeboy D Bax just said yesterday and shit. Yo, post chain is Ethereum 2.0. That's what's gonna surprise me the most. You
That's
know what I'm saying? Like shout out to D Bax. Yo, he said that shit
post.
yesterday. I never even thought about it like that, but it's true. You know what I'm saying? Post chain
Yeah.
is fucking Ethereum 2.0. Like no bullshit. But
And I
what?
was just looking at the crypto visor before I got on the stream. And of course, the rumor came out that oh yeah, 2.0 is supposed to come out in November now. Like, yeah, all right, motherfucker. You don't even know what's optimism. What's this other shit, layer 2 shit they got out now? I mean, what?
And see, that's what people. I don't even think people really, because obviously, motherfucker, are not into all the technical geeky shit like we are. But E 2.0, it's only a layer 2 solution, yo. You know what I'm saying? That's what you get. You get a layer 2 fucking solution. That's your E 2.0. When they finally work that shit out, that's what you got. That's the technology. I'm rooting for them. You know, we all got stake in ETH. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless, whether we like the gas fees or not, like we all have interest in Ethereum, the platform doing well. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I
But
wish
not
them best.
before post.
Nah, I wish them all well, but yo, it's you're gonna be like eating the dust of fucking a poach chain like for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So, but all right, fellas, yo, Nate, appreciate you stopping
Yeah,
in
bro.
with us,
Yeah.
my brother. You know what I'm saying? Anytime we do this
Anytime,
every Sunday.
brother.
Yeah, we here every Sunday. Me, Asher L, and JJ Wentworth, man. We be holding it down with Sunday service and
Oh,
shit. So
JJ Wentworth. Oh, that's my
yeah,
brother too. I like JJ too, man.
okay, so yeah, all family and shit, bro. So
Yes,
and
sir.
also JJ and Asher L, yo, they got a YouTube channel. Go check them out as well. Crypto and Down. They do a few like generally on average about three fucking like live joints a week and shit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be talking sports. You know what I'm saying? Like current events. Obviously crypto. So I like it because like we into more than crypto. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we're definitely into crypto, but there's a lot more shit going on in the world than crypto. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's heavier, sometimes it's light as shit. But I like to hear that balance of like dialogue and shit between brothers, especially. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, it was great meeting you, Crypto Nate.
Hey,
Definitely
like,
have to catch you again on Sunday.
hey, likewise. You catch me on Twitter too, man.
Okay.
Crypto Nate.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
Bet.
on Twitter.
yeah. Nate's on fire on Twitter. Yo. You definitely need to
Yes, sir. Doing it right now.
Nate's been on fire on Twitter. So yeah, yo. Again, this is another Sunday service. Asher L. Crypto Nate, Sun Cypher. We will see you guys again next week. I appreciate the love, fellas. Asher L, I'll be in touch with you, brother.
All right. For sure, man.
All right, peace, Nate.
X on, baby.
Yeah, man. All games, all day.
Later.
Peace.